Alright, what's up everyone? Let's go over this test 2 review logic pretty much. Let's zoom in here. So number 1, given if I have a Siberian Husky, then I have a dog. Identify the hypothesis. The hypothesis is the stuff after the word if. Do you include the word if? No. After the word if. All the way to before then. That is my hypothesis. So do not include the word if. That makes it wrong. It's just I have a Siberian Husky, which would be letter B. Number 2. It's the same thing. If I have a Siberian Husky, then I have a dog. We want the conclusion now. The conclusion is after the word then, all the way to the end of the sentence. Do not include the word then. That makes it wrong. You only want I have a dog here, so it would be letter D. Alright, that is the conclusion. Number 3. The same statement here. If I have a Siberian Husky, then I have a dog. We want the inverse. Now for the inverse, the inverse. The inverse, we're going to do not P to not Q. So first, and then P is also the H, and Q is also the C, right? So it could be not H, not Q. So let's first figure out what the hypothesis is. From here to here, remember, after the word. So that is the P, or the H is the same thing. After the word then, from here to here is the Q. So the little line, these little lines, remember they mean the word not. Okay? And remember that the original statement is P to Q. So since P is still first and Q is second, we're not going to flip nothing around. So the order is still going to go the same way. The only thing going to change is that we're going to put the word not in there. Alright, so put the word not. So number 3 says, I have a Siberian Husky. Well, then you're going to put I do not have a Siberian Husky. Okay? Now I'm just abbreviating there because I don't have enough room. So that this right here is now not P. So this is not P. Now the next part is I have a dog. Well, I need to make it that I don't have a dog. Well then, pretty much I do not have a dog. And that would be my not Q. So you want to write, it's like erasing all of this, replacing it with this part. So if, now this part here, if I do not have a Siberian Husky, then don't put the Q anymore, replace it with this part. Okay? So let's see which one says, if I do not have a Siberian Husky, then I do not have a dog. If I do not have a Siberian Husky, good. Then I do not have a dog. That's good. If I have a dog, we're trying to say do not have a dog, so then B is wrong. If I do not have a dog, nope, it has to say Siberian Husky first, so this is wrong. If I do not have a Siberian Husky, that's good. Then I do have a dog, but we don't have a dog, so that's wrong. So the answer here would be A. I tried to make your test just like the review. So if number 3 is asking you for the inverse, then number 3 on your test is asking for the inverse. Now, not over the Siberian Husky, but it's the same exact concept. Don't flip anything around here, and leave it P and Q, and just put the word not. Number 4. Given if I have a Siberian Husky, then I have a dog, identify the contrapositive. Contrapositive means not Q, not P. Now remember that was for the other note, so keep that in your notes. Do not erase that. It should say PQ, but what happens here? You flip them around. This comes this way, and that one comes that way. You flip. And then what does this mean? To add the word not. You flip them and add not. Okay, that's what you do for the contrapositive. So for number 4 here, from right here to right here, that's P. From right there to right there, that's Q. But now we want to say not Q, not P. So now it's going to be if. Then you're going to put not Q. So we're going to put not Q. So you're going to put a little not here. So how it says I have a dog. How do you put not? Well, then that means I do not have a dog. Then, so this right here, that is your not Q. Now we need a not P. Well, the P says I have a Siberian Husky, but we have to put not P. So how do you make this be not? Well, then I do not have a Siberian Husky. Right, so flip them and put the word not. So let's see which one has that. Because this right here is now not P. So let's see which one says that. So don't erase it. I'm just letting you see which one has it. So let's see. Which one says, if I do not have a dog, right here, if I do not have a dog, excellent. If I do not have a dog, good. If I have a dog, that's wrong. If I do not have a dog, no wait, this is Siberian Husky. It has to be a dog, right? So this would have been wrong too, because it needs to say I do not have a dog. So the only one right is letter C. No, it's a little confusing. Ask me in class if you have questions. Number 5. Not P, not Q. You should have all these in your notes. You should have the conditional. The conditional means P to Q. That's the converse next. You should have them in your notes, so you shouldn't be writing this down unless you're not listening, right? Then you're writing down nothing, all this stuff for nothing, which is it's kind of funny. Q to P, then the inverse. Not P to not Q, which is that's what we have right here. We have not P, not Q, which matches, so this is the inverse. And then the contrapositive I just went over a little while ago. And then that would be not Q to not P. All right. Number 6. What is the hypothesis of the following statement? If Johnny is late to school, then his mom will have to drive him. Remember that the hypothesis is the first part, after the word if, before the word then. So this is my, from right here, that's my hypothesis. Johnny is late to school, Johnny is late to school. Do I include the word if? Did I highlight the word if? No, so that's wrong. So then it is that one. Number 30 on the test is a counterexample question. I only did 29 questions on the review here because I didn't feel like printing out another paper just for one question. So number 30, just a counterexample, right? Number 7. If it does not rain today, then we will have practice. That's my P. After the word then, that's the Q. So if we had that, and they rearrange it to say, if it rains today, then we will not have practice. But let's see what they did. They said, if it rains today. This says if it does not rain today. So if it says do not rain, now it says it does rain, what do? You have to think about it. If it says first it does not rain, now it says it does rain, that's the opposite. They did opposite P. Then we will not have practice. It says we will have practice. So what does that mean? If you have practice and you add the word not, that is not Q. Which one is P and not Q? P, or not P, not Q. There you go. Right here. Not P, not Q. But exactly what we have here. So this would be the inverse. So number 7 would be B. Number 8. If Emily is not late to class, that's the P, then she will not be marked tardy. That is the Q. So let's look at what they changed it to. They changed it to Emily is late to class. Again, this had a not, and now there's no not here anymore. That means they changed the P. That means P is still first. So then this is not P. Then she will not be marked tardy. It says here she will be marked tardy. So they just did the opposite of that. So that means that's not Q. So another not P, not Q, that would be the inverse again. On your test, how do I go over that on your test? Let me see here. Your test. This one? Yeah. What number is this? Oh yeah, so I'm asking you to find the actual inverse. So I give you the if then you have to find the inverse. Alright, no big deal, same thing. Kind of. So as long as you know how to find the inverse, then you're good to go. So in other words, on these questions on the test, it will say, it'll give you just, it's only going to give you this part here. And then you have to actually make it be the inverse, which is not P, not Q. Easy smeezy. Obviously, as long as you know what the inverse is, which is not, add the word not to the first part, add the word not to the second part. Number 9. Whoa, wrong test. Here we go. So what is the converse? Converse means change PQ to QP. So just flip them around. Just flip them. Put the first part at the end to have Q first, and then put Q, which is the last part, put that first now. That's all it says. So if we are at the park, then we will swing. This is P, that's Q. Change it to Q first. Okay, so now you're gonna write down if Q, then whatever P is. So Q is we will swing. So we're looking for if we will swing. So we're looking for if we will swing. If we are not at the park, that doesn't make sense. We're looking for if we will swing. Letter B says if we will not swing. These do not have a little line, so we're not putting the word not there. Next one here. If we're at the park, no, we want the Q to go first and the Q as swing. Right here. Letter D. If we will swing, that's the first part. Then you write the first part last. We are at the park. And then we are at the park, which is letter D. Number 10. What is the inverse? An inverse means to write. So PQ is the original. Inverse wants you to write if not P, then not Q. Look, the P still goes first. It's still P. Okay? It's still the letter P. So P is still first. So don't flip nothing. All we're doing is adding this little squiggly line. And the squiggly line means put the word not. That's it. So Jason does not go out to dinner, then he will come to the volleyball game. So add the word not. If Jason does not go out to dinner, what do you mean if Jason does not go? How do you put not to that? If Jason's already not gonna go, how do you make the opposite of that? How do you put not? If Jason does not go, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean he does not go? Well, it means the opposite. If you're already saying that Jason does not go to dinner, then that means now, since the little squiggly lines to change it, the meaning, it means that he is going to go to dinner. So yes, dinner. So P. So not P means goes to dinner. And not Q. Q was this part here, so this was P and this was Q. Q says he will come to the volleyball game. So we're going to change that. So if he's going to the volleyball game, now he will not go to the volleyball game. Not go to game. So let's look for that. Which one says if he goes to dinner, then he does not go to the game? If he goes out to dinner, then he will come, or then he will not go to the volleyball game. It looks like letter A. Yep, letter A. It says he goes to dinner, right there. He does not go to the game. Not going to the game. Number 11 is the hypothesis and conclusion. That's just the first and the second part. After the word if, remember that. So if you eat breakfast, right here, this is the H, which is the same thing as the P. Then you will feel better at school, which is the C. Again, did I underline the word if or did I box it in? No, so that's wrong. You will feel better at school. Well, I guess in this question, only 2 multiple choice, so then it has to be this one. If you eat breakfast, then you will feel better at school. So, letter A. Because this one over here flips it over. And we're not supposed to flip anything over, so, yep, easy. So, not Q and not P. You have your notes up here, not Q, not P. It's right here. Not Q, not P. That would be my contrapositive. "13. Since all humans are mortal, and I am human, then I am mortal. Is that deductive or inductive?" Well, let's first remember what deductive and inductive is. Deductive is based on facts. Inductive is based on observation and, well, patterns, actually. And this means you can prove it. Okay? So, are humans mortal? No, we're not talking about a video game Nothing like. We're talking about real life, no, not some dumb movie. Can you prove that humans are mortal? Yes. No one's lived over 100 and some. That's a long time, but that doesn't mean that they're immortal. And then it says, I am human. Can you prove it? Well, I'd hope so. Then that means that I am mortal. Yes. Since all humans are mortal, and I know I'm a human, your teacher hear me, then that means I am mortal. Then that is based on facts. I can prove it. That is deductive reasoning. Next one. All chickens. Alright, where are we here? All chickens that we have seen have been brown. So, all chickens are brown. Is that based on facts? And you can prove it? Or is that based on pattern and observation? All chickens that we have seen have been brown. Are all chickens brown? No. So that means it's inductive. It's based on pattern. The next one. Obtuse angles are greater than 90. This angle is 110 degrees, so it is obtuse. Number 15. Well, are obtuse angles greater than 90 degrees? Are they? Yes, they are. So if you have an angle that's 110, can you call it obtuse? Can you prove it? Yes, because that means it's greater than 90. That's what obtuse angles are. They're greater than 90 and less than 180. Number 16. All observed houses on South Street have roofs that are falling apart. Sherry lives on South Street. Therefore, her roof is falling apart. Keyword is observed there. Since you observed that all the houses on South Street have roofs that are falling apart, and since you know that she lives on South Street, can you prove that her roof is falling apart? No. I mean, did you actually go out and see all the streets on there? No. You observed that the house is on South Street. You didn't see all of them, just the ones that you saw. So inductive, that's based on patterns. You observed it. 17. Again, all these questions match the questions to your test. They're not the same exact question, but they're the same type of logic. If the question on the review says to use deductive reasoning here, well then on your test you use deductive reasoning. If number 16 asks you is it deductive or inductive, right? Then on your test it's going to ask you is it deductive or inductive. 15 is it deductive or inductive? It's the same thing on your test. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. Number 15. Okay, see. Is it deductive, inductive, deductive, inductive, deductive, inductive, deduct, same exact thing. So yeah, we're good. Man, my review is good. All right, 17. Which of the following complete a statement to form a valid conclusion? So we're using deductive reasoning. In other words, we can prove it has to be fact. Okay. If it is snowing heavily, then school will be canceled. If school is canceled, the big test will not be given today. Okay, got it. Understood. If it's snowing heavily, the school's canceled. And if school's canceled, then you can't give the big test, obviously. So it says, if it's snowing heavily, then what? If it's snowing heavily, the school's canceled, which means if the school's canceled, there'll be no test given today. Now, are the other ones right? I mean, they could be. Should you watch out for snowplows? Yeah. Are the roads going to be hard to drive on? Yeah, more than likely because it's snowing. But it wants you to use only these statements here. Don't be making your own. Number 18. If it is Friday, then I will get paid. It is Friday. Well, then what? Then it's not Friday? That doesn't make sense. You will not get paid? No, you do get paid. You just finished saying it is. It is Friday. That makes no sense. It is Friday. That means you get paid. Right? Number 19, solve for the equation for x. How would you solve the equation for x? How do you do this? And solve. Menu 31. Don't get this question wrong. Same thing on here. Same thing on here. Same thing on here. So the next one here is to find a pattern. All right, so 23 says here to find the pattern. A, there should be B and C, but it goes to D. And then there should be an E and an F, but it goes to G. So A, B, C, skip B, C, go to D. Skip E, F, go to G. H, I, skipped, go to J. And then it's going to skip J, then skip K, and then L. The next one should be M. 23, 33, that's plus 10. So another plus 10 would be 43. If I put plus 10, do I get 53? Yes. Plus 10 again, you're going to get 63. So 43 and 63. What are the missing numbers here? Well, 12 to 15 is plus 3. So 15 plus 3 is 18. 18 plus 3 is 21. Good. And 21 plus 3 is 24. So 18 and 24. Now, obviously, yours will be different patterns on the test, but those same questions are pattern questions. Number 6. 26 says to find a counterexample. So, if it's a number, then either positive or negative, what is an appropriate counterexample? So for us, in this question here, it says if I have a number, it has to be either positive or negative. 10, 0, negative 2, true. There is no counterexample. Remember, counterexample means to prove it false. It says if you have a number, then it has to be either positive or negative. Is that true? All numbers are either positive or negative. Is that true or false? If it's true, you put letter D. If it's false, find one. It's false because 0 is not positive or negative. 0. What is a counterexample to the statement? If two angles are supplementary, then they are both 90. Supplementary means that you have two angles that equal 180. So then 90 plus 90 is 180, right? Correct. But do they have to be 90 and 90? No. Well, let's find out. Let me see. 45 and 45, that's 90. That doesn't prove it wrong. 120 and 10, if you add them, you only get 130. Well, that doesn't prove it wrong. 100 plus 80, that's 180. And they're both not 90, so that proves it wrong. If you have a fraction, all fractions have to be between 0 and 1. What's a counterexample? Well, on a number line, 0, 1, and 2. This says that all fractions have to be in between here. Anyways, all the numbers have to be between 0 and 1. All the fractions. 2/3, that's 0.66. Is that in between here? Yes. 1/2, that's 0.5. 4/5, that's 0.80. All of these numbers are less than 1. But 3/2 is 1.5. 1.5 is after 1 in between, so that's a counterexample. 29. If you have an angle, that angle is acute. What is an appropriate counterexample? Well, do all angles have to be acute? No. Is 70 degrees acute? Yes, but I want to prove that's not one. Is 45 degrees acute? Yes, I don't want an acute angle. 120. Is 120 an angle? Yes. Is 120 degrees acute? No. It's obtuse, so that's the one I want. And yeah, that's your test. If you have questions, you need to let me know in class because I'm not going to help you during the test. This is your exact test. Just different questions. Again, number 1, find the hypothesis. Then on your test, you find the hypothesis. So make sure you know what the hypothesis is. Number 2, find the conclusion. Then you need to know what a conclusion is on the for the test. Remember that don't include the word then. All right. Inverse. What do you mean inverse? Do I flip them? What do I do? That's exactly what you need to know for the test. If you can do the review good and you have good notes and you understand, the test is pathetically simple. And if it's not, well, then you're going to fail. Sorry, what are we going to do about it? Yeah. And if you're still listening, but you should be, which is awesome, 25, the answer to number 25 on your actual test is B as in boy. 26 is D as in dog. And 27 is C as in cat. All right, laters. 0.